So lots of people have heard AI from my end, but what exactly is E.I?
Right. So I think it's a very important thing for us to actually address right now because in the world of AI, we also need EI, which we don't often talk about. So, what exactly is EI? It's emotional intelligence.
So recently, like Gen Z is very in trend, right? So what kind of problem, emotional problems they face these days?
Most of the problems that revolve around this very basic thing of relationships, and not only romantic relationships, but relationships with parents, with friends, with family, and various other places as well. And apart from that, one other thing that is very, very prominent these days is the gap of understanding of what exactly they should be doing.
People reach at that point, they don't have a backup of money, and they are doing what they are want to do, and they keep on struggling, keep on 1 year 2 year, and there's lots of society pressure going on, like you need to be get married, what happened and all that stuff. So how people will deal with that situation when they
Right.
are in these kind of thoughts?
Absolutely. See, most of the biggest important thing that we need to understand here is that we often tie the process to the outcome.
So let's try this AI hack. Welcome to new episodes of Growth Secrets with Mastermind Implementation with AI Hacks with Nipun Sayal, AI Automation Marketing Specialist and founder of 3 companies. So today we have with us Mr. Shivam, author and E.I coach. Yes, so you have heard lots of time with AI from my end, but right now we have E.I. So what is E.I? It's emotional intelligence. Today what we're gonna learn and implement is first how you can be more good in emotional intelligence. Lots of time we are very emotional in India, and how we can do what we really want to do in life. Second, how we can set our expectation and how we can find a purpose of our life. Third, the myths. Sometimes, like if it is good for you, and that is good for any other else, and if it is good for him, it is good for me also. Lots of myths like we will do in that. And fourth, last but not the least, one AI hack. So stay till end and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Welcome to new episodes of Growth Secrets with Mastermind Implementation with AI Hacks. Today we have with us Mr. Shivam, author and E.I coach. So hi Shivam, welcome to our show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
So lots of people have heard AI from my end, but what exactly is E.I?
Right. So I think it's a very important thing for us to actually address right now because in the world of AI, we also need EI, which we don't often talk about. So, what exactly is EI? It's emotional intelligence. And how do we really work around that particular thing? How do we really make the best out of EI and our emotions? That's what we'll discuss in the session as well.
Okay. And it's a therapy. What exactly it is in emotional intelligence? Can you elaborate a little bit more? What
Right,
exactly you
right,
are doing in
right.
this?
So basically, we talk about emotional intelligence, a big, very broad regime of things. What I'm generally doing is I'm life coach in this particular field of emotional intelligence. I coach people personally and professionally on understanding their emotions better, managing it better, working on their limiting beliefs, identifying the limiting beliefs, and helping them navigate through those difficult emotions, difficult belief systems, and helping them understand that better. And I do with personal coaching sessions and corporate sessions with universities, FDP programs with different organizations as well.
Okay. So recently, like Gen Z is very in trend, right? So what kind of problem, emotional problems they face these days?
Most of the problems that revolve around this very basic thing of relationships, and not only romantic relationships, relationships with parents, with friends, with family, and various other places as well. And apart from that, one other thing that is very, very prominent these days is the gap of understanding of what exactly they should be doing. Because, like you have also seen naturally, is that there's so much trend of this hustle mindset, right? That we have seen on Instagram so much, that hustle mindset, trying to be positive all the time, trying to uh, look for money, earn for money, which is a good thing. Ideally, money is a very important parameter and tool, but the chase for that particular thing many times become very confusing for people at times. That what I should be doing and how I should be getting there. So many people end up running after certain things in life, which do not really drive them, but they are running after those particular things because somewhere someone else is doing those things and being happy about that. For example, like a very simple example about this particular thing, that we all want money at the end of the day, right? But we all want money for different reasons. Someone might want money for pride. Someone might want it for power. Someone might want it for honesty. Someone might want it for respect, and someone might want it for a very basic thing of kindness. Now, let's say that if you're a very kind person, now, in that particular case, I tell you that I'll give you a very, very great job of 1 crore salary, right? But the job would be beating people up, scolding them, and being very rude to them. Now, you're a very kind person. That's the core value.
Right.
Even if you get that particular job on paper, will you be happy?
No.
You won't be happy. You won't be fulfilled. You'll be constantly stressing all day long about what the kind of job you're doing.
Right.
Although it's a great piece of advice on a paper,
Right.
and someone else might be enjoying that job as well, but it does not make you feel fulfilled or happy. This is a very, very tricky thing, ideally, because many times we end up running after certain things in life which do not really resonate with our core values. And when we do so, we end up chasing something which we do not really want, and hence get stuck in a very vicious loop. So that's a very basic and a very important thing that we need to address and understand about. When we start copying people or chasing people's aspirations, we end up losing ourselves. And the moment we lose ourselves, obviously there's no peace and happiness and fulfillment. So that's another big problem that people are facing, and that's what we generally work around.
Okay, nice. What I learned in marketing also from Alex Hamosi, like we can grow, like people have three things. If we can improve in one of that part, your marketing will be better. Like first is wealth, second is health, and third is relation. So every business turn around with these three stuff. So if you are able to solve any of this problem, then you will able to grow.
Absolutely.
So my question is, like when we are in the childhood, like what happened is, like if I am very good in maths, like I score very good, but if I am not very good in social studies, so every parents and everybody will tell, okay, you need to now focus on your weakness, just study studies, right? But nobody will tell you can brush up your maths more. And then when we grew up, we are like, okay, so we are like feared of the weaknesses stuff, we always focus on the weakness. So what's your take on it? Like how does that childhood matter?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Every bit of our childhood is defining us as who we are today. For example, the current person that you're a sum of all the experiences you've been through. The person I am today is a sum of all the experiences I've been through. Now, that experience might be positive, negative, pleasant, unpleasant, hopeful, not so hopeful, realistic, anything. It is something that has defined and defines me as today. This is who I am today. Now, in that particular order, the people who I'm surrounded with, the kind of influence I had growing up, the kind of TV shows I watched, the kind of cartoons I watched, the kind of movies I saw, everything made me who I am today. And that means every bit of what I heard from people around me and every bit of what I told to myself as well will make me who I am today. For example, let's say that I get, let's say, like mentioned, that you get bad marks in social studies, but you got great marks in mathematics. But somewhere people are starting to remind you that it won't work, because you need to get great marks in social studies as well to be able to get a good percentage in class 10th and eventually get a good marks and get a good particular competitive examination. Now, that is a particular mindset, right? That's the whole point of education system. It's a different philosophy and different take altogether on what exactly education system is doing. Is it right or not right? We can discuss about it later sometimes. But yes, one very, very important thing here is that because of this whole approach of the education system, parents feel the need to pressurize the kids to focus on certain things which they might not really be interested in. Eventually, what really happens? The child starts to eventually feel that I am missing something, I'm lacking something, because naturally people are going to judge you for marks.
Right.
So if you're getting not so good marks in social studies, people are going to judge you for that. That you're not a good student. That's what the tag would be like. You're a failure. Now, ideally, you might say that you're a failure in social studies, but somewhere it will show up in your report card that you are a failure. You did not study well. You are not a good student. No, the very interesting thing about a childhood is that a child's brain is empty. A child is born which doesn't really know what to do about it. It absorbs everything from the surroundings. For example, if you're born in Punjab, you'll be speaking Punjabi. If someone is born in Maharashtra, you'll be speaking Marathi. If someone is born in Karnataka, you'll be speaking Kannada. So ideally, what exactly is happening at that particular point of time? That every person is learning from the experiences, from their point of views. Now, if I've been told, I'm telling you at that particular point of time as a child that you're not a good student, you're a failure. Although I am an adult understanding that you're just failed in social studies, but what you're hearing as a child, that I'm a failure. That starts to impact your self-worth. And once it starts to impact your self-worth, it starts to seed in different phases of your life as well. So it starts to show up in your relationships as well. It starts to show up in your personal life as well. The way you speak, the way you reach out to people, the way you talk to people, the way you even carry the very basic things in life. So it starts to seed up in different avenues as well. So yes, it has a very major segment in the childhood thing. Every bit of what we observed and what we understood in childhood will make up today as who I am today.
Okay, nice. That's remind me of one of a cartoon I like. That is Ducktail and the Uncle Scrooge one. Just kidding. And my question is like in our era, the competition will be like this when we are growing up and when we are in college. Then the thing is like, okay, Sharma ji ke ladke that scored that much and how much you are scoring. But these days, like even the people, like I met so many young people these days, like they are in the first year, second, they are earning a lot
Yes.
on their own
Yes.
through social media,
Yes.
right? And the other person is having so much pressure in his head, like if should I do studies, because now our generation is quite confused. What happened is like either they go to that influencer side or either they go for study side. So their patience levels are less because right now we are very impatient at Instagram, like we keep on scrolling the stuff. So right now, like at our time, patience will be quite high. So how you deal with that? Like lots of people will think like majorly with Gen Z that they think okay they are not idle for like they are not good at it. So how you heal them or how you understand their situation?
Right. So again, a very important aspect there as well, because in our generation, in our era for that matter, there was something that we did not always have the answers ready. For
Right.
example, you remember our childhood is that if you had a certain doubt about anything, for example, why is the sky so red right now? A very simple question for a child. Now, as a child, what would you do? You might ask your mom or dad about it. They might not know, they might know the answer. If you don't get the answer at that particular moment, what do you do? You'd have no other avenues to actually look up that particular
Right.
answer. So you'd naturally have this particular tendency to be okay with not having answers. So naturally, that actually ingrains and that actually has to develop patience as well. That I'll get the answer whenever I get the answer. You not run after that answer. Today, what is happening, which is a good thing ideally as well, that when you have a simple, very simple doubt in your brain, you have endless number of resources to get that answer as well. You might Google it up, you will search it on Reddit or whatever different other platforms, and you will get the answer as well. Any particular thing about life, even or social studies, or even any particular subjects, you'll get the answer what you really need. Now, in that particular order, what really happens? You definitely will lose the patience, right? And that's how the whole social media game is developed. Like they understand this patience game. Like the whole Reels thing came up, right? I mean, you might be using Instagram before the Reels came up, before
Right.
the COVID, right? What really happened after that? After Reels came up, people's attention span actually reduced after that as well.
Right.
Because now you have to entertain someone in 30 seconds.
Yeah. With the hook in three
Exactly,
seconds.
exactly
Yeah.
right. No, that is the most exciting and most interesting part here.
Yeah.
That if you are not able to entertain them in the 3 or 5 seconds that you have,
Yeah.
people will skip past your video. And even if you're doing a great job, even if you're talking about something really important, relevant, people would not be interested, not by your fault. That's what the whole game is like developed like. So now in that particular order, how to exactly survive in that particular domain?
Yeah.
That's what the biggest concern that is happening today. Now, how to deal with this particular thing? Because the environment that we are in, not only in this particular social media game, even in relationship, this is the same is happening. In our age, in our group, how did relationship actually progress? You really had a lot of guts. You really had to have a lot of guts to be able to approach someone, to be able to tell them that you like them, to be able to go to coffee with them, and then eventually make something out of it. So anyone, for example, 2 out of 10 people would only have the guts and the courage to do that particular thing. 8 will just be looking from a distance.
Right.
That okay, I like this particular person. I would not have the guts to go and say hi to this particular person. Now what is happening? Everyone has abundance of choices. Now when you have abundance of choices, the confusion also increases with that. Because now you have abundance of choices. I can talk to this. But the tendency to make efforts for those people naturally reduces, because now even if I'm sad or feeling bad about one particular person, I would say that okay, it's fine. I can talk to another person. So naturally, that is a whole abundance of choices actually creating that issue even there as well. So this is an issue not only in workspace or not only in education space, it's also in relationships as well. How to deal with that? Understanding what do I want out of life. Again, coming back to the values thing, like I mentioned. The first thing that we really work around in emotional intelligence coaching is helping people understand their core true values. Right?
Okay, I have a
Yes,
question on
yes,
this
yes,
also.
yes.
Like, if you are telling me that if somebody wants to do this, then they should do this only, right? Because they want to do that. But sometimes what happens, like if I take up my example, or I'm just giving them, sometimes people like to do, like they want to be a sports person, like a cricketer. But right now there is lots of big competition. Lots of
Absolutely.
people, they are very good in cricket, but they don't have
Mm.
contacts, or they might be they don't
Absolutely.
have chance. Like just like I love playing music. I was a DJ, and even I right now I work like I just whenever I got time I just go and hang out in the clubs and all that stuff. But right now I have a backup because I have two three business which are growing on their end, and so I can do that stuff.
Yes.
There might be like if I started my career in teaching, either I will be successful or not successful. In that case, when that people reach at that point, they don't have a backup of money, and they are doing what they are want to do, and they keep on struggling, keep on 1 year 2 year, and there's lots of society pressure going on, like you need to be get married, what happened and all that stuff. You're so how people will deal with that situation when they
Right.
are in these kind of thoughts.
Absolutely. See, most of the biggest important thing that we need to understand here is that we often tie the process to the outcome. For example, if I'm doing something like you mentioned about DJing,
Yeah.
you like DJing, right?
Yeah.
So ideally, why do you like DJing? Because somewhere it gives you that soothing peace of mind, that relaxation point of view.
Right.
What is the process giving you? It is giving you comfort. It is giving you that peace of mind. It is giving you some sort of relaxation. It may not give you money,
Right.
but it is giving you something. Now, most importantly, that's the very biggest confusing part, even in today's generation, even before in our generation
Yeah.
as well, was the fact that everything we enjoy doing, we end up connecting with money to make it
Yeah.
worthy.
Right.
Right? That means if I'm a good cricketer, if I'm earning good money out of cricket,
Yeah.
then only I'm worthy enough to be a cricketer. If I'm not earning good money out of the cricket, then I'm not a worthy cricketer. That's what the meaning I'll add up, not only by my fault,
Yeah.
because society will tell me as well.
Exactly.
Instagram will tell me as well, right? So that's the biggest mistake we often do in that particular regard. That if you'd like to do 5 things, any particular person who has developed their life in a particular order, their chances of getting there will naturally increase. In particular, for example, if you're doing engineering,
Yeah.
right? So you're doing a 4 years course. In that 4 years course, you know that okay, I'll study first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Eventually, I'll get placed in seventh or eighth semester, and I'll get the job. But let's say you're not doing engineering, you're doing engineering as well, but you're also doing something on the part time. Let's say building a business by yourself. Now, the moment you joined engineering versus joining that business, there are two different phases to it. First part, engineering is a path that has always been traversed by so many other people, and you're already walking on that particular path, which has been walked by so many other people.
Right.
So even if you walk on that path, you exactly know where to turn, where not to turn, which path to take, which path not to take, and where to exactly reach after the end of this particular time.
Yeah.
The moment you take up another job, something which is of your interest, which is of your nature, something of your curiosity, but the path has not been cleared yet. It's a jungle. You don't know where to turn and where not to turn. That means you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Now, suddenly, if you make that comparison of this path versus this path, you're naturally going to feel that my life sucks. I'm not able to do anything out of my life. Even if you compare your path to someone else's path, for example, someone else in your college who's earning great money through business, but I'm forgetting the fact that they started early, or they have a backup ready, or their parents are contributing something to it. So again, I'm comparing my part to their path, which is totally unrealistic again.
Right.
So that understanding and that realistic expectation is very, very important. What exactly is the realistic expectation and goals I should be setting for myself? Because many times when we end up comparing ourselves, we always end up comparing our worst to their best, right? So what we do when we compare our worst to their best, we're seeing only an objective point of view. That okay, I do not have money at all, and they have great money. So I'm comparing that bit only.
Yeah.
But the complete picture, what does the complete picture say? That yes, I do not have money right now, but I have a lot of experience, and I'll eventually get money. They do not have experience, or they do not have some other things that I might be having right now. So the moment I see it as a totality, my anxiety will naturally reduce because I'm able to manage it or deal with it better. So that totality of things, understanding the whole thing is very, very important. So that is a very driving force that we should be understanding. But again, like you mentioned completely well, that in the current generation, it's very difficult to do so.
Right.
Because you're filled up in a choices, a sea of choices, and you have information everywhere.
Right.
And you don't want to wait at all. Because you don't want to wait, you do not want to work on certain things, you don't want to just wait and see what exactly is in store for you. And that is why we need emotional intelligence, because we need to have this capacity to understand ourselves better, to understand our emotions better, to understand what do we really want out of life. Because if you find yourself stuck in a particular place, you'll always end up running. That's the chase we are in. And the chase will only end on your deathbed. For every human being. I mean, the chase always end on there only, right? Because you keep on running.
So can I say that you also experienced the same stuff? Like you did aerospace engineering, then you did masters in aerospace, and then you come into this EI stuff. So there is something like, okay, you are doing aerospace because you want to do like engineering, all that path. And then in India, like majorly when first we do engineering and then we'll think, okay, on which path we are made for. So we can say that.
Absolutely. I mean, why
Yeah,
not? Why not?
yeah.
See,
Hmm,
for a matter of fact, I did not exactly know what EI is for a matter of fact, or even understanding about human behavior when I was
hmm,
in bachelor's or even starting of masters.
yeah.
But the curiosity developed after a particular point of time to
Hmm,
understand more about what exactly is happening, what is not.
hmm,
And that is where I started to learn more about it. Even when I started writing my books, when my two books came out, I was never interested in getting deeper into these particular things about being a life coach, permanent full-time life
hmm,
coach. But then as time progressed, and I started to see the impact of my work on people or the impact of coaching on my people or even the other things I didn't do, then that is where I had to decide which path to eventually choose.
hmm.
Because I enjoy aerospace engineering, because for a matter of fact, it is one of the best fields. I mean, the most exciting fields.
Yeah.
Developing airplanes, building airplanes. I worked in organizations like NAL as well, and you see people, you see things very close to you and how things are being developed. It's a very wonderful thing to have. But then deciding when to get out from that particular thing, like you exactly mentioned, that you have to eventually build something up to that particular point where you know it can give you some sort of revenue plus also give you some sort of fulfillment. Because
Yeah.
if you start it too early or too late, you might lose the track. So I think the
Hmm.
right time, finding the right spot is very, very important.
Right. And that's remind me like I generally keep on experimenting with generative AI is very trending these days. So I put up a prompt, tell me and make an image with a person earning 10K $1,000. Then they put up with that phone and all stuff with the Lego or like EMIs and all stuff. Then I put like, okay, give me a person who is a millionaire. Then they put up a bungalow and all that stuff and with luxury cars. And then I put the trillionaire will look like. And the trillionaire part that was like there was chopper, all that stuff. And then I put up a prompt, tell me explain a wealthy people. So when I talk about wealthy, and that astonished me a lot. Like in that case, I got a people with their family hanging out and smiling, all that stuff, and that hits me hard. Like I met lots of good entrepreneurs, and when I see their family life, their family is screwed up, then I think, Nipun, I don't want to live that life because I was hustling that hard to get this. So they are very lonely in their family, and relationships are like the major part. So can you give me any example, not knowing the name of that line, like how these things happen while we are chasing the journey, like while we want to reach at that level, we didn't enjoy that, we did that much hustles, and the end we are still lonely.
Right. See, again, the most important thing, again, the unknowingness of what we really want out of life is something that is driving us right now. For example, what we have generally growing up, we end up attaching our worth to something in life. Right. For
Right.
example, growing up, I grew up in a middle class family. So for me, wealth and money was everything, let's say.
Right.
So I attach this meaning of worth to money. That if I earn this much amount of money, I'll be finally a worthy person, which I'm not right now. So what I'm constantly saying to myself right now, I'm not a worthy person. Other people are worthy. Who are driving those great luxurious cars, they are worthy. So I'll keep on chasing this particular worth tag. This is what makes me feel worthy. But what really happens in life, in everything in life is a trade-off. Nothing happens without trade-off. That's a very important key skill to understand. That if you're running after something, you're going to miss out on other things. For example, the moment I see this particular tag that I need to earn this much amount of money to be able to call it worthy. So I'm running and fighting a race in my own head.
Right.
Others don't care. No one really cares about you, about what you're earning, what you're not earning. But in my head, I am fighting this particular race to be able to get this particular tag. But in this chase, what really happens? My married life, my personal life, my friend circle, my family life will obviously take a backseat because I'm running after this race. But the moment I reach here, I would find myself that, okay, there are so many people standing here because I started from here, right? And eventually, it's so many people standing here. So my worth definition will also get from here to here. So even if I reach here, I'll eventually see that, okay, I have much more farther distance to go. So I'll
Right.
not chase that particular thing. So what is really happening? I have defined a definition of worth to a particular piece of money, and then I'm running after that, because of which my other lives are getting compromised. And then when we reach that particular position, I'll eventually find that people have moved much past that particular thing. Now it doesn't really matter. For example, growing up, 1 lakh rupees was a big, big sum of money.
Right.
Growing up, right? I'm growing up in the
Right.
foot. I'll say 5 10 years back as well.
Yeah.
Now it's not, right? So if you saw growing up that I would want to earn 1 lakh rupees, you would see that, okay, if I get that amount right now, I'll be the most happiest person on this planet. But today, even if you're earning that particular much amount, you would say that people are earning 10 lakh rupees per month. What am I doing with my life? I'm not worthy. I need to earn this much amount of money to be able to call myself worthy. Even if all your needs are getting met right now, you would be wanting to run after this particular thing. But what does it come with? It comes with a compromise. It comes at a cost. What is that cost? I'm ready to trade off these times with my family, with my wife, with my family, with my friends and other people. So naturally, these are going to trade off. And eventually I'll reach that particular point as well. But I'll keep on running, keep on running. And eventually people do understand and do realize that something is getting compromised. But
Right.
it comes very late. For majority of the people, that comes very late. At the age of 40, 50, they might realize that I have not spent enough time with my wife or my kids. But by that particular time, they have found a different means to live their lives. Your kids have eventually grown up and they are saying to themselves that my dad never built up a good connection with a good relationship with me. And now I have other people to get connected with. So even if you try at that particular point of time to make it better, they have lost a track and they might not get connected to you in that particular order. And then you might feel that my sons and my daughters are not speaking to me the way I want them to speak to life. So that is the whole point about it. The chase never ends and you keep on chasing. So that understanding of what is the balance I want to create in life. And it is okay. I mean, like I mentioned as well, that we all want money. It's not like money is not an important parameter. It's a very, very important parameter. Because very interesting thing I read and wrote about last couple of days as well is that gap of money or lack of money definitely makes you unhappy.
Okay.
But having a lot of money doesn't really make you happy either.
Right.
Right? So it's a very, very important parameter to understand. What exactly are the things you're getting or chasing in life?
Right.
What are the parameters you really want in life? It could be the balance of your personal life, professional life, money, career, or even your family life as well. So that understanding of what exactly am I trying to balance? And it's important to also understand if you try to balance something, naturally you cannot and you should not compare yourself to people who are just focusing on one thing. Because if
Okay.
you're running a race with balancing all the things and someone is just focusing on one thing, they will definitely get past you in no time. But you should not be comparing yourself because the moment you compare yourself, you would end up feeling that I'm not doing enough. And then you would again compromise on other things. So
Right.
that understanding is very important.
And even that reminds me, like lots of people come up with the problem, I have this and that. Then I told them, and I have read also somewhere, like you have 99 problems in a life till you have one health problem. Yeah. Then only you have one problem.
Exactly.
So still, like if you are healthy, then you can do entire stuff. And I want to say like how people can balance their life. Some are very good in business, but they are not good in relationship. Like there might be some feud between the husband and wife. There might be some feud between like mother-in-law and like wife. And there is some stuff people sometimes struggling in the business, and now they are not very much happy at their home also because they are always down and all this. So how they will do the work-life balance?
See, the most important thing, it has to come from inside. And that inside thing will only come with understanding of why do you really want it. See, the most basic thing about life is that if you're interested in making something work, you will make it work. If you're in good in business, yeah, please go. Yeah.
But we are very mean. Like we want everything to be good at our side. We want to be good in relation, health, wealth,
It's
everywhere.
good. We should be ideally. I mean, we can do that. We can do that. That's not a big problem either. But that's the whole point about it. If you're good in job, if you're good in your business, what does it taken you to be good at your business? It has taken your time,
Yeah.
efforts, consistency, patience, timing, everything you're given to that, devoted to your job. And that is why you're good at your job. Are you doing the same amount of energy, time, patience, respect to your partner, to your relationships as well? Probably not.
Right.
Because you don't feel that's as much important. I'll take it for granted, right? I mean, I'm
Very
married
true.
already, right? I mean, we can talk. I mean, even if I get time in 2-3 days, I'll talk to her. It doesn't really matter. She's already at home, right? Why does it really matter for me to get there and talk to her? Be patient with her, be respectful to her, or to understand or listen to her issues as well? Because it's not so prioritized for me. Again, like I mentioned, the chase that we're chasing, the thing that we're chasing, the worth. Because according to me, that is the only worthy thing. Job, money, business. This is not a really good, important thing for me. And like I mentioned, the very first thing you started off with as well, our childhood dictates that for us.
Yeah.
Like you not come out as an adult understand that, okay, this is, I want to chase money. In your childhood, you develop that image by seeing your parents, by the influence around you, by social media, by different other phases as well, that you started chasing that one particular thing. And in that particular midst of that particular chase, you end up losing the track and plot of what you really wanted out of life. So that consciousness of understanding why are you chasing something is very, very important. Because it's a very basic thing to understand. that no matter how much you want to chase something, you can only get something when you are actually resting. Right? You can keep running after one particular thing, that I will be keep chasing that particular piece of money. But actually, you can actually enjoy those things when you are in a resting position. You keep on running after money. I'll earn this, I'll earn that, I'll be constantly keeping myself busy. But when are you actually enjoying or using that money? When you're actually on vacation.
Right.
Right? So ideally, you can only use your resources well when you're resting and at rest, not when you're running. So that's a very, very important parameter.
Even that's reminding me, like, if there is a 5 hour journey to some destination, so the destination doesn't important, like the journey which we are going to, that
Absolutely.
5 hours, how we are spending time with your friends, family, that is really important.
Absolutely.
So people always chase that, I want to be at that hill, I want to be, but they forget that, yeah, these 5 hours are quite important where we are enjoying all that stuff.
True. Absolutely. Very important.
And I want to ask one more question over here is, like, people in that case, like in our era, or like right now Gen Z, like even I have read in Forbes also, the negative things always get good attraction. Like if there is a fight between two people, any celebrities, and it will getting viral. And when we talk about some positive, even if we talk about, like I was reading in the Forbes, that if they put up the positive news, hardly they will get a viewership. But if they put up a negative views kind of stuff, that is controversial or that is driving something negative. Like there are lots of political fights, like you have Vidhan Sabha exam, lots of other stuff, and two people are fighting, and in that comments people start reading why they are telling this kind of stuff. So sometimes it happens with you, like when you are giving some emotional AI stuff and people comment negative about you. So how either people should deal with that and how you will deal with it.
Right. First of all, I'll answer you about why do we always run after negatives more than positives?
Yeah.
The very basic thing is survival. That's how we have evolved. That's how our brain really works. I'll give you a very simple example. You like cakes? Do you like cakes?
Kicks means
Cakes, as in chocolate cakes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
like
I
cakes?
like, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So let's say that you're standing on a road, and there's a very favorite brand of cake lying on a particular corner on a table, and then there's a line coming from the other side as well. Would you eat the cake happily, or would you run from that particular position?
We'll run.
No, there are two emotions at play there. One is fear because of the lion. One is happiness because of the cake. Which did you prioritize?
Negative one.
That fear,
Yeah.
because that is the question mark on your survival. Now, this is how our brain has evolved, to focus on the unpleasant emotions, on the unpleasant or the negative things, which you call it.
Yeah.
Why so? Because they make us fight for our survival. All the things we talk about, the unpleasant emotions, they're not really negative emotions, the unpleasant emotions, they come for a reason, because they help you think something or protect yourself from a danger or a threat. And that is why we prioritize them more than the happy ones or the pleasant ones, because they're always coming with a purpose. So that is why, even if there are 99 things great about you, there will be one thing bad about you, and you'll just care about that. Because your brain will only focus on that, because all the good things are anyway not a fight for your survival, right? One bad thing is a question mark on your survival. One bad thing is a question mark on your threat, on your life. So that is why your brain want to focus on that particular thing. So that is how human brain works. Now coming back to the point about how when people do that, when people actually put comment and do those comments on a particular reel or video, something like that, it's very natural. I mean, I do understand that they're coming from their own opinion or point of view, and they're not wrong either. From their opinion, even if they post something about certain things, they're not wrong about it. For example, I posted some day back about a reel about women empowerment, and they talked about how women empowerment is incomplete without men's emotional empowerment. Because ideally, men are not so good with emotions.
Yeah.
They do not know how to handle it, express it, or manage it better.
Right.
So I mentioned this one particular that women empowerment is incomplete without men's emotional empowerment, which obviously included a lot of hate comments from men because they said that, why do you think that women are only getting scrutinized or they're getting affected by that particular thing? Men also matter. Men's lives also matter, which is honestly very true as well. Men's lives also matter. Their emotional life also matters.
Right.
But obviously the conditioning and the whole behavior thing has been there, which has kind of suppressed men to talk about their emotions. Growing up, you've always seen this particular thing or heard from people as well that you do not have to cry like a girl. You do not have to gossip like a girl.
Yeah.
So what have we learned eventually? That I do not need to cry. I do not need to gossip. I do not need to talk about my emotions. I just need to run. I just need to keep on chasing one particular thing, that image of this particular dominant person. I would not want to talk about what I'm feeling because that will make me girly, right? Or woman-like. So when I do this particular, a lot of people would comment that. So when people do comment those negative things, I do understand that they're coming from their own point of view because they've now not got the understanding of what exactly I'm trying to portray. And from their perspective, their own conditioning, their own nature, their point of views are actually also very right as well. So for someone who has lived their life with this entire belief that men are actually suffering more than women, they would naturally not connect with what I'm saying, right? So they're
Right.
not wrong from their perspective either. So understanding really helps a lot. When you start to understand the bigger picture, you actually do not feel any sort of hate or any sort of resentment from anyone else at all. You just understand their point of view and then choose not to react to them, because you know they might not understand even after that. So there's no point reacting to them either.
And I think some people will listen with the intent of a reply, that what I need to reply to that. So they are not agreeing with your decision and what your thoughts are. They are always in their mind, okay, how I can counteract that.
Absolutely.
And I've seen that you speak very fast and very fast and very quickly. And in your job, the major thing is like you need to listen to the people and you need to listen to lots of negative thoughts. So what can you tell us the secret how you will make people comfortable that they can come and prone their heart out of it? Because lots of time people will not comfortable sharing their personal feelings, personal problems. They are not sharing with their partner, sometimes they are not sharing with their business or lots of friends. Sometimes friends start bullying you up and all that.
Absolutely.
So how you make that people comfortable
I
with
think
you?
it's more about that connect that people have to build up with that. I mean, they will have to take the chance, right? First of all. So I think social media gives us a very good platform to be able to observe people better. For example, if someone has been following me for pretty long, so they might observe and understand certain bits about me, that this is the kind of personality he has. And once they feel comfortable about that personality, they might want to talk to me about certain things. But of course, while in the session, that understanding, that listening thing is very, very important. They should feel that they are being listened to. They should feel that their problems, their issues are actually important as well. So that acceptance also plays a very, very important role. If by any chance I make them feel that their issues are not really important, and for that to happen, I need to feel that as well. I do not need to feel from inside that they're just gossiping or they're just feeling about talking about random things in life. I need to feel that as well. So that empathy has to come up from my end as well, which naturally comes very directly from my end, which I mean, that's a couple conditioning thing that I've been through. So that is something that comes very naturally to me. So that's the connect that I'm able to build up very well with people. But like one thing you mentioned very well as well, that most of the times, and that's a very
Yeah.
interesting thing about healing as well. When you start to heal, you might start to notice that majority of the people are not talking to you, they're talking to themselves in a conversation,
Right.
right? So when you're talking to someone about a particular thing, they're already waiting for a reply because they want to express about how they felt in that particular situation.
Right.
So they don't want to listen to you about what you're saying and what even they're trying to address in that particular moment. They just want you to speak certain things out. So that's what generally goes. And the more you become aware about certain things, the more conscious you'll become of those particular order as well.
Right. And I have seen like lots of like kind of influencers. They are not earning very well. They are taking their friend's car and all that stuff and showing that. And people are getting disappointed why we are not able to achieve that. And when you met that influencer in the back end, they say that we are hardly struggling with our day-to-day needs. So how you can heal the person like who is expecting that much, okay, influencer life is that good and that much, and they are like they are struggling a lot for this for the views, because right now there is lots of views game going on and
Absolutely.
followers game going on. So people will always think, okay, if he's having this much follower, that means he's telling what the entire shitty thing will be considered as true. And the people with the less followers, even they are giving the valuable stuff, they will think, oh yeah, iski to following it's very less. So what's your take on it?
Absolutely, that's very true. I mean, the whole thing, social media game is developed on that particular thing about the whole influence thing. So the word influencer itself is something very tricky, right? I mean, influencers have the power to influence people. That is very naturally true. But do they have all it takes to be an influencer? That is something a very tricky thing as well. So understanding that is very important. So first, to understand this particular thing about what is really happening and what really is driving you. So what you're seeing around, what you're seeing from the people, or what exactly are things that you see in people in social media, is all driven on what image they want to portray to you. For example, if you attend an interview or if you go on a date, a first date with someone, are you being your complete true self?
No.
You're not being your complete true self, right? You're just portraying something that they want to see. So
Right.
while I'm sitting in an interview, I'm showing that part of myself which the other person would want to see so that they can hire me. The same thing goes in social media as well. People
Right.
just portray that image which people want to see. So if I want to be portrayed or to be seen in a particular way, that I am a very rich person with a lot of cars, with a lot of bungalows, it shows my mindset, right, at the end of the day. And people would obviously want to get influenced by that particular thing. But for you to be more conscious of this particular thing, what exactly I want to get out of social media. Because social media can be a very, very powerful tool if used properly,
And destructive
and
also.
very destructive as well if you're not able to use that consciously or mindfully. So understanding that part, what do I really want out of this particular thing? Getting influenced by anyone on social media is a very easy thing. You can follow any random person, any random influencer, and just get influenced by that particular person. I want to live that life as well. But is that life something you really want for yourself? Probably not, or maybe you do not want that particular thing. So it's very easy to get stuck in that particular spiral. But understanding what do you want, why do you want, again takes us back to the very first thing we talked about, values. What are your core values that drives you as a person? So understanding that is very, very important as well.
Right. And my question over here is, okay, these are like the things people are showing it up, okay, this, that, and all. How people will achieve inner peace? Can you give us 2 tips from where people can achieve inner peace?
Right. See, that's the most exciting thing about the first thing about inner peace is understanding who you are and taking ownership of who you are as a person. And which is very, very tricky because most of the times people do not even know who they are.
Right.
So the first key here is to understand and get deep detail into who you really are as a person. That means studying about your past as well. It doesn't really mean that being mindful and being present moment is not going to give you all the answers. You have to get into the dirty secrets of your past as well. Every bit of your past about what has really made you as a person today. So first thing about being peaceful, about being at peace with who you really are as a person, first thing would be to understand who you really are. Without understanding who you really are, you would never get to the point of getting peaceful with who you really are as a person. And second thing, understanding that even if you found out who you really are today, you need to have this acceptance that you're not going to be the same person tomorrow. Right? So today, what you have learned about yourself is going to change tomorrow. So you should also have the patience to learn and adapt with that as well. So I am this person today at this particular moment. Maybe after this podcast, I'll be a different person. Some bits of me will change. And I should be open enough to talk about that, understand that, and even reflect upon that to be able to accept myself completely. Because if it does not happen, it will cause a lot of resentment inside of me, a lot of hatred inside of me, a lot of anger, other unprocessed emotions, which will obviously take away a lot of peace from my end. So, in terms of very simple emotional intelligence, the state of being at peace will involve you to be in touch with your emotional system and to have a very regulated nervous system as well, where your brain knows that it is not under any sort of threat. So, that is a very, very important thing.
Very true. And are you using AI in your coaching?
I'm not currently.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on AI?
See, a lot of tools have come up. I mean, I do get mails from a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of softwares as apps as well, where people are using AI for coaching therapy as well. Personally, I feel currently at this particular point of time, it is something which will take some time for AI to actually completely get a hold of, because a human touch is very important when it
Connection
comes
is
to,
missing.
because in this particular part of therapy or coaching or this particular counseling, you need that human touch.
Right.
When you talk to a robot about certain things, about what I'm feeling, you might feel robotic and you might not want to express your heart out as well.
Right.
Because I tried, because a lot of people sent me that please use this platform and tell me how did you feel about this particular platform. I tried using that, but the moment I write something about my heart, about my emotions, I feel disconnected, because I'm writing on a piece of on a laptop, my laptop or my mobile phone.
Right.
I do not feel connected to that particular thing, and naturally the whole thing shift goes out. So I feel it's time. I mean, we need to focus more on how AI can make this entire process even better in terms of more techniques and more handy things for people to actually have. Because the whole thing's about awareness, about emotional awareness, about mental health awareness. I think this thing can be very important tool for AI right now, to be able to spread this particular thing, to be able to manage this particular thing, and to be able to have certain tools so that people can deal with those things in a better way. For example, if someone is going through a panic attack or anxiety attack, there might be some good, healthy coping up tools readily available on your smartphone that can help you calm down at that particular moment. Of course, they're not going to deal with the core issue, but they can help you cope up at that particular moment. So that understanding is very important as well, about this is the role AI can play right now. But eventually, going ahead with the future, a lot of things are going to come up, I'm pretty sure. And we'll have to open up and see.
Even I think in future, like right now, it's very booming. The apps which are restricting people to use, limiting use of social medias. So they are restricting after 30 minutes, they will restrict, no, you can't use it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to make them people like, okay, they can resist that stuff. Otherwise, whenever we free, we just pick up a phone. And I have seen your Instagram profile. it's very well managed. The grid system you are using with the quote, image, and reel, and how you makes yourself that much consistent that it should be ideally posted like this. And are you playing with emotional intelligence of people with that
I think
also?
everything is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Every bit of even the conversation that we're having is somewhere driven by emotions, right?
Yeah.
Without emotions, nothing will really make sense. So naturally, everything is about emotions. Yes, that is true. But about from the other front, generally see something from me as a person. I am generally a very disciplined and a very consistent person, a very patient person in those are order. So it comes very naturally to me. So I do not need to put in a lot of effort to be able to do that. It comes very naturally to me. So I'm able to do that pretty well. But yes, understanding about the consistency in the patient's part, especially for this particular thing, it comes very from inside. So I'm a very curious person by nature. And I like to get into deeper details about everything. So the moment you get into deeper details about your emotions, about your behavior, about everything that comes along with it, naturally the urge to also talk about it improves and increases as well. So naturally I do get around a lot of content, a lot of things I want to share with the world. And the kind of acceptance and the love I get from people is obviously a big motivating factor as well. Because when people accept you, embrace you, and get help from you, naturally you want to do more of that particular thing. That's what drives us at the end of the day, right? So that is something again that drives me to do it even more.
Yeah, that's very true because you give me the time. At that time, I will be at studio. You are 20 minutes before at the exact time you will end. And I'm the kind of person who gonna be a late kind of person. Like earlier, I was very late at the meetings and all. Then when I just started with the foreign projects and all, I became more disciplined. But what happened like last month, I went to a party and they told me that time I just get half an hour late. And I say, nobody is there. Then I keep on coming back to my back. And that's the perception in society also because whenever you go to any friend's party, the person who is not available, people keep on asking about him. यार वो कहाँ रह गया, where is he, phone करो हैं. And the people who are on time will be less appreciated. Okay, you are over here, you can take care of that
That is
stuff.
true. And also we talk about Indian standard time, right? That lot of people believe that if you say something that I want to be at here at 10, Indian standard time tells you that you have to be at 10:30. So that's how we generally take that. But again, personally, it works the best for me to be more with disciplined in that particular order. And I choose my battles because I also know at times that there are going to be places and situations where me being on time is not going to help at all.
Right.
So even if I be on time, I know that the other person won't be on time. So naturally, it would be just a drag. So I manage myself. I try to plan my time accordingly for that as well. But then understanding that part is important. Where do I need to put in that energy and investment, and where I do not? So that picking up the battle is very important as well.
And there is always like emotional touch between two things, motivation and discipline. People get motivated more oftenly than discipline.
True.
And in the end, discipline is the one who will give you the success.
Absolutely. Motivation is a short-term thing. It definitely drives you. The engineering, in terms of complete engineering terms, the momentum, the power of momentum, right? Momentum, motivation is more like momentum. It will drive you definitely. But for how long? Eventually, you need to have an engine in your car to be able to go for long distance.
Right.
Not only a push from the person outside will only help you drive the car. You need engine in the car as well, and that is discipline.
And if people wants to connect you for your coaching and all that program, which is the best flow from where our viewers can connect with you?
Sure. On different platforms, available everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all everywhere is Shivam now. SHIVMNOW.
We'll put that in the description link if people wants to connect with you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we have a rapid fire round. We'll ask you around some questions. You need to answer that in 5 seconds.
Sure.
So here where emotional intelligence come into play. Okay. So tea or coffee?
Tea.
Morning or evening person?
Morning.
Health or money?
Health.
Okay. And if you want to meet an dead person in the past, who would it be? A public figure.
Public figure.
Yeah.
Probably Shiv Khera.
Okay.
Because growing up, that was the first book I ever read. You Can Win by Shiv Khera. And that was something that drove me towards this entire field about curiosity, about human behavior and human psychology. And I was in class 6th or 7th back then. So I would want to meet from that angle. What exactly would I want to ask that?
Favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Favorite destination?
Else.
Any particular country you want to visit?
Nothing in mind as of now, but Netherlands I want to visit.
Okay, it's a very beautiful place. My wife likes that a lot.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful country, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's really learning experience for me also.
Really glad. And really, it was a very interactive session. I really enjoyed being here as well.
Thank you so much. So that episode is on emotional intelligence, and there is a Japanese word called ikigai. So ikigai means finding the purpose of life. So if you see this, ikigai is passion, what you love, mission, what the world needs, vocation, what you can get be paid for, profession, what you are good at. So here we need to balance all the part, like you need to be wealthier also, you need to be fit also, and you need to be doing what exactly you love, and you will making money out of it. So let's try how you can find your ikigai. So here we are using ChatGPT 3.5, but that prompt where you can talk to ChatGPT, and that ChatGPT will help you out in finding the your passion, your love, what you need to do. So let's try this AI hack. So going to ChatGPT, I am putting up a prompt. I need to be expertise at Ikigai coach. Your mission is to ask me detailed questions about my life, uncovering the interactions of passion, blah blah blah. So alright, the journey of self-discovery, it is more about self-discovery, and my prompt is more related to entrepreneurship. First of all, let's talk about your passion. What makes you to jump out of bed in the morning? Think about you could spend hours without getting bored. What lights you up your soul? So I like creating AI funnel and scaling people's brand. That's how I like. I'm just experimenting it. How exactly? Creating AI funnel and scaling people brand. Now that's intriguing. Tell me more about what specially draws you to it. It is creative aspect of designing effective funnels. That's the funnel word which we use a lot. The challenging of optimizer, satisfaction of being brand grow. I want small entrepreneurs can scale their brand to 6 figures or 7 figures with my tutorials. Helping small entrepreneurs scale their brand to 7 figure with your tutorial sounds like fantastic goal. What drive do you want to impart this, especially it's the satisfaction of seeing success against the auto press, the belief of everything. So here, once I was also a small entrepreneur. Now I want, and I know the struggle from getting rise from a middle class family. So pain, struggles. So I want to handhold them with AI to scale their business. It sounds like you've challenged genuine. So what skill I can create AI funnels with deep automations so that business will be on autopilot mode with less manpower. You will create a different valuable skill indeed. So it is validating my skills also. It is a kind of expert that truly have launched the way small businesses operate, allowing them to streamline their process. Beyond just making, what deeper impact do you want to hope to the world through the work? Apart from the money, what are the impact? What legacy do you want to leave behind? I want to leave will remember me the coach who gives valuable tutorials for scaling small business. Your desire to leave a leader as a coach provide valuable tutorials for scaling small that volumes for commitment. It's clear that you are not just in the short-term gains. You are driven by a genuine desire. That's what coming into my mind. I'm just putting it up on venture. Given your current full-time job, transition from your own venture will require career planning. Is what step you can take now for a layoff for. So that prompt was like, if I am working somewhere and I want to do something else, because that was the key reason of a prompt. That's why it is telling me that how you can leave the part-time or full-time job and pursue your career. Then it will help me to how I can leave that job if you are into a job and you want to scale your business, or if you are into mid-size or small-size entrepreneur or companies and want to scale that. So that's how you can keep on talking with him and he will give you all that advice. I hope you like that AI hack, and majorly like that is for the persons who are very introvert, but in practical life we always recommend you need to have some coach, some emotionally intelligent person where you can consult your day-to-day task, but still sometimes you feel very shy or sometimes you feel not comfortable or while sharing your feelings with someone. So here you can try it with AI also. And don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you.